Oh, what is this? What is this?
I'm actually gonna look up the stream.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure it's working.
We can't
Does it
see
work?
them.
Oh,
I think
here we
there's
go.
been a minimum of technical difficulties.
Yeah, I'm just quite surprised how smooth everything's flown today.
We are like staying on schedule really
Yeah.
well.
I think that like we have to, like those of us who are not Owen, Matt, and Comic Drake, we should all say thank you to you guys, because the three of you guys really did a lot of the behind the scenes work in getting this up and running for the viewers that aren't aware. So thank you very much for helping make this happen.
This
Thank you.
wouldn't be
Yes.
possible.
Thank you, Owen, Matt, and Comic Drake.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, everyone.
This wouldn't have blown up if everybody hadn't been excited and involved, though. Like everybody sharing this with their audience, though, like it would have just been Matt's dumb idea if everybody didn't get real excited and share it.
It will always be Matt's dumb idea.
It was your fault for making the original tweet, and then it was my fault for saying, "Yeah, let's actually do this."
I think it was a great idea. Where are we at right now for how much we've raised?
$7,002.
Yeah.
Hey, that's amazing. One day of work, like some of us have big channels, some of us have smaller channels, but none of us are like, like an A-list superstar with like hundreds of millions of followers.
Unless you're Benny.
Is there anyone on YouTube with hundreds? I guess like PewDiePie.
I mean, probably, but I'm that out of touch that
I'm just saying, I think that 7,000 is an amazing amount of money to give to charity.
Yeah.
Any amount of work was definitely worth that. Like it was a privilege to be involved.
This is a YouTube thing?
I think we streamed on Periscope today, I believe.
I think one of my favorite moments of the con, though, has been exposing a lot of viewers to channels they hadn't heard of before. Like, Mickey, you were tweeting about how you didn't know how delightful Nando was. I saw during Mel's presentation on the Krakoan language, everybody's like, "Whoa, my God, this is so incredible."
Yeah,
and
so many people were
very good.
fascinated by Mel's presentation, and it was awesome. His slides are art.
Yes,
fantastic.
I love Mel's presentation.
Yeah, it's been fun to see everyone coming together in interesting configurations, bouncing off each other in new ways, and being behind the scenes and seeing like expecting it to be a certain thing, like, okay, I know what's gonna happen, but then finally going live and being like, oh, now I get it, and like seeing all the stuff, and it is just exciting to watch it all happen live.
Setting aside the fact that we're doing this because so many people are quarantined, setting aside that we're doing that like for a specific reason, it really is amazing to see that like comics is a medium, an art form that can bring together so many different people, because there were a lot of viewers today and we definitely have raised a lot of money. And I don't know, I just love that comics can bring together people that have such disparate views in life. And hopefully people have enjoyed the day. I think so.
What was everybody's favorite moment?
Hey, we passed 7,000.
Yeah.
Woo! I just want to address the very important question that's been raised in the live chat, which is, why is Matt Draper like actually cute?
That was my first question when I saw him.
If I looked like Matt Draper, I would be on camera.
I would be on camera all the time, and there'd be a little like image of a comic down here in like the bottom screen. It would be mostly this telling the channel.
I get nothing but comments about how ugly I am.
Oh no.
Matt is this hot, and then he also doesn't show his face because he's also blessed with a golden voice. That's not fair.
Guys, I get nothing but comments about how I don't have eyebrows. Please leave your comment below about how I don't have eyebrows.
My question with those questions is, are they telling you in case you don't know? Or is it like...
By the way, you're a triple threat, Matt.
Are they expecting Jay to read those comments and be like, shit, where did he go?
Like they crawled off in the middle of
Guys,
the
wait a minute. No. Jay, did you realize you don't have eyebrows?
I actually had one guy who was deeply concerned that I might be on chemotherapy. And he was, seriously, going through the comments section, like, leave him alone, guys. I am okay. And
You're so
I'm
brave.
aware.
You're just so brave.
That's why I don't show my face on YouTube.
Until now.
Weird segue. I have always said that the comic book community on YouTube is like the best community on YouTube. It's the friendliest that I've ever seen.
Why I stopped
And
doing video game content?
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be here. And yeah.
I spend most of my time hidden under a rock, and I think I don't spend a lot of time interacting with other YouTubers, not by choice necessarily. I don't know. It's just how it turns out. It's been really nice to collaborate with a bunch of other people for a change, though. It was fun.
It's been
one of my favorite parts of comics. Like you can do it a singular vision. One person can create a book, but I love the collaborative aspect of comics.
That's it.
Sometimes you improve the idea.
If Superman and Spider-Man can hang out, then why can't all of us? There you go.
Tyler, man, you don't talk to a lot of YouTubers, and then when you do, you choose to chat with me. That's a poor choice, man. That's
whoever's around. Really, it's not that I'm unfriendly. I just happen to have a bit of a reclusive nature online. I'm not entirely sure why. It's just how it turned out.
Ooh, I don't know, Tyler. You've been on the phone with me to talk about comics for like 2 hours once.
Yeah, well, when you get me going, I can really keep going for a while.
When you get going, you do not shut up, and I love
In
you.
fairness, though, that feels like amateur. I think I do 3-hour calls with Matt about Mark Miller every week at this point.
Yeah. We need to do this and let's find this giveaway and we'll talk to this panel and we'll get this started. And then eventually it's just, Ultimates, what do you think about that? And then it's nighttime.
Yeah, before I know it, it's 3 a.m. and I've been ranting about the Authority for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Well, oftentimes I do a lot of research into some really obscure stuff and how a bunch of things are connected that a lot of people don't notice. And I've legitimately done stuff where I'm pretty sure me and like maybe a few writers are aware what actually went on there. Yeah. And so when I get going, it's hard to stop because I'm just like, it feels like someone's got to know.
That's it. You can. It's almost like you're digging and you strike gold, and you're like, I have to share this information with someone.
Was there anything that people wish that they could have had in the panel that somehow we didn't, get the chance to organize or include, like whether that's a person or a topic or something?
Oh, a complete slideshow of Drake's Marvel pinups.
I got him over here. You want me to get him?
All right, get naked Ghost Rider. Come on.
Oh, we're getting naked Ghost Rider, baby.
If I had time to think about it ahead of time, I would have put on some sort of a ridiculous costume, because when you go to a convention, isn't seeing all that cosplay like one of the most fun aspects these days?
We were talking about doing some form of cosplay competition.
Should have thought of that.
It was just more of like the logistics of putting it together. But hey, that's why there's always next year.
Absolutely.
I think that there were two things that I was unsure about. The first being, I didn't have any idea how my panel was going to go. I had like more slides prepared, but I ended up not using most of them. It was mostly just me talking and gesturing. I don't know. Upon reflection, I think that might have been a mistake, because everyone else on my panel was basically just doing a slideshow, and I guess I didn't get the memo.
No, I thought yours went really well.
But secondly...
And to be fair, there wasn't much of a memo.
Yeah. Well, secondly, I had originally proposed doing something like a panel on cosmic beings or the structure of the multiverse or stuff, because I have a tendency to really analyze that stuff to an absurd degree, and I'm not sure if I'm upset that didn't happen or not, because part of me is still thinking, well, it would still make for a great video, and so I might just make a video on that at some point.
That's it. If you've got a good idea, you may as well put it to use somewhere.
Yeah, the academia panels, I feel like those could have been dedicated videos.
Oh yeah, I would be
yeah.
more than happy to see individual videos based off those things, because all of them were fascinating.
Well, all of the panels are going to be archived on the At Home Comic Con YouTube channel, and feel free to download any of those and use them for whatever purposes you want.
That's it.
That would be great.
I'm telling that to the people that were doing it, not the chat.
On the little webpage thing, over the next couple of days, I will try to take all of the archives and post them there so that they'll be easily found.
Yeah, awesome.
I'd love to, if we do this again, and I really hope we do, because I loved collaborating with all of you guys. I would love to see some panels on foreign comics, being I'm in the USA, and a little more indie. I think that there's a lot of people that are interested in that stuff. So hopefully that, there's definitely room to grow, which is the fantastic part.
it's a good. Sorry, go on.
Well, speaking of indie, can we just give like another big round of applause to Valiant Comics for all the prize support and for everything? They have been amazing for this. Like, absolutely.
Fantastic.
Quality books.
Seriously,
quality
they have
very, very generous of them.
Yeah, I don't think it's hyperbole saying that this wouldn't have gone half as well as it did without both the generosity and also just how helpful and supportive they've been.
Mm-hmm.
I've been blown away by just how brilliant everyone at Valiant has been. Both with, getting the creators of Quantum and Woody on for Hass's panel, getting all the awesome giveaways that I'm so jealous I couldn't enter. And then just, they've been all over social media, making sure as many people as possible know about what we're doing. And honestly, they've been great.
Well, and if we're thanking people, like, thank you to every viewer that donated, like even
Absolutely.
$1 or something. Yeah. But the fact that somebody out there donated $1,000, like that's all of a sudden I just saw like the total skyrocket up. I was like, oh my God, thank you. That's so generous.
It's crazy, man.
Hey Matt, how many donors did we have? Can you see that on your page?
Yeah, I can pull that up for you in just a second.
Quick question. Let's say that someone wants to donate later tonight or tomorrow. How long will that link work?
Good question.
It should be good up until the 19th. I think you can still donate, but honestly, if you're going to donate to Hope from Home, probably just give it to another streamer because Hope from Home is going to be going for a bit longer.
Yeah.
Multiple channels are all working under the banner.
Hey guys, a couple things really quick. This question was this panel was supposed to incorporate some sort of a Q&A function, and we have some people in the chat asking if they think that this will be an annual thing. We discussed that right before we went live, I think, but we haven't said anything to the audience.
So should we just plenty of interest?
Yeah, I think we've all enjoyed doing it. It's been a lot of work, but I feel like it's been. I don't think anyone. It's been a lot of work, but I don't think we've enjoyed doing it, and I think that seeing it all come together today has been brilliant, and I'd definitely be more than happy to put another one on next year.
Yeah, agreed.
Next year, I'm gonna not show up for 2 panels.
That's great. Wow.
We've been having
you got to keep a tradition.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of talk of stuff we want to do for like next year. I think we want to do like a cosplay contest next year for people at home.
Artist Alley.
Yeah, an Artist Alley would be good. We want to do like maybe a second day of panels. I don't know if I'll be able to host 2 days worth of stuff because that's 2 days where I can't really do anything. I mean, for charity, maybe.
We've got a year to figure it out, so.
Yeah, I mean, instead of 3 weeks.
We will have far more time to plan next time.
This was non-stop.
Yeah,
this should be a dumpster fire.
Oh, it wouldn't very well.
For 3 weeks, that was a lot of people to pull together and a lot of technical issues to resolve, as well as, figuring out the charity and donations. Setting that aside, the fact is, if we have more time, promotion can only help. Like 3 weeks is, all things considered, not that much time to make people aware of what we were doing. So
it's now that we've done it, and now that At Home Comic Con is a thing that people know about, we've got the socials, we've got the channel, people can go and see what we've done. It kind of legitimizes it a little bit. So when we put one on next year, it's not just this thing that a couple of people that sit in the spare rooms and talk about comic books are throwing together. It's an actual thing. So like I said, it can only
like the brilliant reception we've had so far will make other people say, hey, I watched this live. Next time they do it, you should come see this.
Yeah.
Hey, here are a couple more. Someone asks if there's a list of all of the channels involved, and another person wants to know who would win in a fist fight if we all had a bare knuckle fist fight.
Well,
I've been training, baby.
On those gains. Drake is putting on those gains. So I guess we're all in trouble.
I mean, I've just finished off a glass of whiskey, so I'm probably out. And I've also
finished off 3 glasses of gin. So
okay, so we'll just go to the bar.
Yeah. Do I get to get drunk before this starts? Because if I'm not drunk, I'm just going to run away.
Okay. Well,
as far as the list of channels, the full schedule that has been published on Twitter and that was pinned to different social media, that has the list of every single channel at every single panel.
Yeah. And what we could do is we could throw together a list with all the URLs and throw that up on the community tab tomorrow.
What about on the website that Jay set up?
Yeah, I'll put it up on the website too. Absolutely.
Awesome. So yeah, that will be available if you want to. We can even categorize it by each panel. So someone watched a certain thing and was like, oh, I really enjoyed this person, you can go and find them and let them know that you thought they did good.
As far as the fist fight's concerned, I'm just going to say I think I can take Drake, but I'm going to expect some other people to like lay back after I'm bruised and beaten from
so
Drake.
are you thinking it's going to be like
Well, I think that all of us are polite enough that none of us would hit a lady, so I think Michaela might just sort of take it, but with us just sort of laying down.
I will play the gender card and win this fight.
There you go.
Thank you for being our token girl for
you guys.
the con.
Yeah, that didn't dawn on me until like an hour ago. I went, oh shit, I'm the only woman here.
Well,
That
there's
is
not
one
a
thing-
lot of women in this community. Like,
There's another thing for next year.
yeah, definitely.
That was not to Michaela, not to make you the token representation. I'm glad you were involved for many reasons.
Yeah, it was fun to share a panel.
But like, yeah, I was like, we need further representation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What are all your thoughts on Jeff Jones's Green Lantern run, Hickman's Dawn of X thus far? Sorry, I'm just reading the comments.
Jeff Johns' Green Lantern run. I mean, it's great. Green Lantern Rebirth is awesome. So is Sinestro Corps War. It's a little too long for my taste. The whole run in general, maybe get off a little bit sooner, but it's great.
Yeah, I think sometimes Matt and I are a little too similar because I feel very similar, and I think Jeff Johns sometimes just loves to insert every character, and it's not always necessary to move the story forward. So sometimes I think like Blackest Night, I know a lot of people love it. For me, it's a little bloated.
There are some stories that I just really love, but it's actually quite hard to find a story that I absolutely despise. I'm very easy to entertain. I can read a story and recognize it probably wasn't good, but I'm usually still entertained by it, if that makes any sense.
Okay, so we've got some more.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. I tend to, even watching movies, I tend to sort of turn that critical process off until after it's over and try to enjoy it for what it is while I'm reading it or watching something.
So we've got a few more burning questions in the live chat. That, Mostly Harmless asks, how did you get Troyer Boy 17? You're not going to believe this story. I DM'd him on Twitter and said, we're doing this thing. Would you like to take part? He said, sure. Honestly, crazy, I know.
Sorry, man. Great story.
Mac the Milkman says, how many sandwiches can Owen eat in a 10-minute period? You know what? We'll find out next time.
What type of sandwiches?
Next convention, Owen Eats Sandwiches is going to be its own panel.
Sandwiches. Well, Owen likes comics. He loves sandwiches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about that branding. It leaves room for additions to the sentence.
Of course, people agreed to do the con. I mean, Owen is famous for his lack of comics.
True.
I love that there's a question, someone saying, would you be open to letting smaller YouTubers in? I have less than 1,000 subs. I don't know why I'm here.
Because we adore you.
Yeah, I got 4,000, less than 4,000. So I think there's some small YouTubers here.
I think we had a pretty good range this year.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a good range for sure. I mean, generally the way that people were invited was that I made that dumb tweet and several other people, retweeted and said their stuff, and just generally like within the first couple days, like there was a bunch of people that connected, and I didn't know everyone that wanted to be in, and not everyone that wanted to be in knew me. And we all just kind of connected and kind of solidified a decent schedule. Maybe we had like 25 to 30 different names. There are a few people that couldn't make it.
We just
and that was kind of
people too.
Yeah.
It kind of just started out as like, okay, we're doing this. Who, like, individually out the three of us are we friends with and we know well enough that we know we could get on? And then it was kind of like, we got a couple of people, then they were like, oh, why don't you get this person and this person? And then it just kind of grew, and then before we knew it, we had like enough people to do the whole thing.
And I cried and begged for 20 minutes.
Honestly, you should have seen it.
And then didn't show up.
Yes, he made this big stink about wanting to be on the show.
Yeah,
and then he just no-showed.
The three of you attracted a bunch of YouTubers and stuff. What was the first panel that got solidified? I'm just curious. Do you guys remember one of them getting solidified before the others?
That's a good question.
I think pretty quick.
I think I pitched the idea of doing an academia one quite early on in the game.
Yeah, that seems like that was probably the first one. And
That was
it was Mel's idea actually to do them as mini TED Talks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty early.
Somebody here is asking if you could erase one comic book from continuity, what would it be? And that's such a big question that I don't think I can answer because I'd really have to think on it. Does anyone have an immediate?
Since Past.
Since Past.
Since Past.
Since Past is up there at the same time. And in fact, wait a minute. Like I've got that from like doing a review.
Oh no!
I have some garbage comics in here as well.
I'm looking over at my shelf and seeing what trash I've got here.
If you just wait long enough, it goes away.
Nah, it's canon.
Well,
forget it. I forgot it. It's gone.
What about the ones that don't go away? Because I do think there's an argument to be made that some decent comics or even good comics might be better off erased from continuity because they created precedents and led to things that spawned a ton of bad comics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Flashpoint?
Yeah, but that's an example. That could be one that you feel that way about. I don't know. That's why I said I'd need to think about it, because it's not necessarily about what's a really bad story. It's about what story has created the most bad stories.
Right. Not just bad, but bad and influential somehow.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a big shot and erase Action Comics #1.
No.
Now we're all gone. You don't want any bad stories?
I agree. I totally agree, Matt, because I love superheroes. At the same time, superheroes became dominant so early on, and it eventually, really took over all these other genres of what comics could be.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Action Comics issue 2.
I love my superheroes. We can't just get rid of superheroes. The world would be so much less interesting.
Getting rid of them. We just might be lessening how impactful overall they are. It's an interesting idea.
Look, you have a day job. I need superheroes.
Superman kicked down the door that every other superhero is still passing through to this day. Getting rid of Action Comics #1 causes a massive chain effect. Like, you would basically be erasing superheroes.
I am not okay with this. I am not okay with this.
I mean, if you think about it, there's like a million bad stories that we would easily say, oh, we'll erase that, like, say, Avengers 200, I think it is. But then look at the amount
Avengers
of
300
we have gotten out of those. That's it, Avengers 300. Just think about the amount of content we have gotten out of that, which has provided other people with hours of enjoyment. So even though they are terrible stories, something good did come from them.
That's a great point.
Good news, guys. I think we're on for the sandwich eating thing. High Top Films has said he will team up with me to eat the sandwiches.
Hi, Alex. Yeah. Thank you for joining me.
Because you guys eat them from two different ends and come together at the same time.
That's it, Alex. You and me, we're going to eat sandwiches and talk about Sam Raimi.
Do we have anyone here who's particularly great at making sandwiches? Do we just have like a chef with us?
I know Benny has a chef on his team.
What's that?
Benny has a chef on his team.
To avoid the joke.
Owns a chef? I got to get to 2 million.
I live near a Subway, if that counts.
That doesn't count. That's not real food.
Certainly not.
Between questions, I just wanted to shout out real quick Mopey and Mac the Milkman, who are doing tons of moderating for us. Thank you so much.
Mopey has been up as long as I have today.
It's crazy. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
I can't tell you how many terrible comments were briefly put in a live chat and quickly taken out like just a sniper in the comments. Fantastic work.
He sent me a photo of his desktop when I think it was the NerdSync chat, and he had like 5 different chat windows open. I was like, how are you sane? Because he had like the Cons YouTube channel, the Cons Twitch channel. He had Scott's live stream. He had mine on, and he had Michaela's on as well. Yeah. It's like, how are you not driving yourself crazy? But he did it, and he did a great job.
Mopey was a well-known moderator in the YouTube community when I showed up here like in 2012 or something, so he does a lot of great work all the time, not just during the con.
Does anybody know, slightly off topic, does anyone know if Mopey, the actual character in DC, is a 5th dimensional imp? Because someone told me he was, and I don't think I've ever seen any evidence of that, but I've been looking for it.
It would make sense.
I think so, but I couldn't back that up.
Sorry, it was just a thing that I was looking into, and I want to know if anyone had an answer.
We've mentioned a couple times that we're raising money for charity, but I'm not sure how much we went into deciding on, how you guys decided which charity we're donating to and who that all goes to. Maybe you could explain that. Some of the Matt and Comic Drake and Owen. Maybe you could explain that just a little bit.
Yeah. You guys want to take that?
Well, so that was a lot on my part. We had been discussing a bunch of charities in the past, and United Way was definitely one of them. But I have a good friend that he does a lot of charity for esports. So when he saw that that I was looking for information on how to get donations, I was put in contact with a rep from Tiltify, and it was him that told me about Hope from Home, which was like the initiative that they were pushing. And honestly, it already had charities that we were looking into. We wanted to make sure that it wasn't essentially an American charity. It's like we were looking at Feeding America initially, but we have
basically I
guests.
Complained about it. I went in and said, right, what's this then?
But yeah, and the guys over at Tiltify were amazing for helping us get everything set up for the stream, helping us get the website set up. So it just made a lot of sense to just go with them. And
it was kind of just like a perfect storm of Tiltify were doing this Hope from Home thing across the month, and all of the 3 charities that they were raising money for were ones that were already on our list to begin with. There are some that are like more specialist in the States. There are some that are more prolific over here in the UK and around the world. So it kind of just all came together in a way that it just seemed like a natural fit for what we were doing. And yeah, I think it worked out fairly well.
Like anything that I'm going to sort of sign off on, I do my research. So, like I've heard of all these charities, but I did my research and I was like, yeah, good. Not a lot of overhead, a lot of good reviews, a lot of positive things to say about the charities that were chosen. I just appreciate that you guys did your due diligence there.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
Really appreciate it.
So earlier, someone mentioned the $1,000 donation. The guy's name is Adam Barber, and it's spelled a little weird, so I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But thank you, Adam Barber. That is incredible.
Thank you from all of us.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's like we said, every donation, whether it was $1 or upwards, is we appreciate it. We don't appreciate it any less, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Every little helps goes to a great cause, but the fact that you will donate such a large amount and be so generous for such a good cause is praisily appreciated.
Did anybody get the Easter eggs donations?
Yes. Your panel was the first one. We had a Batman.
Oh, great.
I saw a Spider-Man.
We had a Spider-Man, yep.
Oh, that's awesome.
So were those all like the numbers of like when a character debuted, like 1940 or 1939, things like that?
Yeah, that was actually all Josh's idea.
I love it.
Brilliant bastards.
I want to do more next year. I didn't have a lot of time to get all that set up, but with a year in advance. Then
hey, I don't mean to interrupt, but we do have one other panelist who's still looking to get in, and we're halfway through now, so I can swap out for him if everyone's okay with that.
Sure. Do you want to plug anything on your way out?
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen my channel, then check it out. I'm The Imaginary Axis on YouTube, and we study pop culture, a lot of comic books, and we see what it can teach us about real life. We look at them through the lens of science, philosophy, literature, really whatever I can get my hands on. It's a lot of fun, and we've been very inconsistent and infrequent with content, but we're going to be coming back in a pretty big way really soon. So be on the lookout for that.
That's it. Make sure you check it out.
Good to know you.
Yeah, guys. Tyler here, I've had a peek behind the scenes a while back. You have no idea the amount of work this guy puts into his videos, so you've got to check it out.
Anyway, I'm gonna head out now. So thanks for inviting me. It was a real pleasure.
Pleasure is
Thank
ours.
you for joining us, Tyler.
for being here.
Pleasure.
See you later, everybody.
Nice to talk to you again, Tyler. Be good.
Same. See you.
So I'm just glancing over and seeing what the donation total right now is. We are at 7,200 and almost 28.
It's great.
Now,
It's fantastic.
7,250. Maybe Drake can start cutting bits of his face off.
Hey, look at that.
It's such a class act.
I'm making a Tinder in like a couple days. I gotta keep my beard if I can.
Look, Drake, you can make your Tinder, but you're not going to be meeting anyone for at least like another 4 weeks.
Texas opens up on Monday.
Just because Texas opens up doesn't mean you have to.
Just shave off half, the left half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go to all my dates.
You can do all your videos with like in profile.
Yeah,
no one
or
will know.
you could mirror the screen and double it over, right? Like,
genius. I feel like we should acknowledge that there has been an extra person added to the call.
Rick Nick.
Hi, Nick.
So if Ick Asden.
It's me, Ick. I feel bad for kicking Tyler off, but I appreciate him dipping as well if he's still watching. That was very sweet. How are you guys doing? I've been watching the panel. You guys have been doing great.
How did you find the Heroes Against Humanity? I thought that was really good.
I had a lot of fun. I had never done it. I had watched 1 or 2 episodes when Benny first, I guess, posted about it. Super fun. Good day. I'm a little disappointed, obviously, that I didn't make it further, but that's just, I'm a selfish guy. What can I say?
Nick, I'm just curious. What time zone are you in? We're in lots of different time zones, but yours appears to be Christmas based on your background.
I live in sunny California, where it's December year-round. I live in a very dark studio apartment with not much natural light, so I put up what I can.
I will be back in a second. There is someone knocking, and I have to go tell them that it's quarantine, you guys.
Oh boy.
What the heck?
We're gonna hear some weird stuff.
This is like the start of a horror movie. Oh, Spider-Man's
closely
moving in the wind.
Nick, how did it feel to be consistently brutalized by a comic historian over your name?
It's funny because in my real life, I have a lot of friends. It started with one of my best friend's sisters just calling me Rick, like in sophomore year of high school. And then I just, people call you Dick, Kick, Rick, and you just go with it. And I give my name as Rick a lot when I don't like somebody. So it's just social media name, and it's just me now.
It's fair to say that the confusion is all on your fault.
Oh, it's my fault. I changed my YouTube channel name to Rick Nasden thinking it would help my SEO. It's just confused things, clearly.
So Matt, can you change yours to Drat Maper?
That sounds terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Say that when Ick's here.
I remember Nick messaging me saying, it's been a while since I've done a video. I'm going to come back and see. I'm thinking about changing my name. I said, I wonder what he's going to change. Maybe he'll just change it to his own name. And then he said, Rick Nasden. I said, great.
So, I don't know. I do a lot of freelance writing. I write about comics, and for some reason, I guess I just wanted that line of separation where my writing is Nick.
It's like the thinnest line.
It's so thin.
2 letters changed over.
Whatever. It's all right, baby. It doesn't matter.
Josh, are you going to be jumping out? I see you talking to someone.
Yeah, I'm going to tag in my comic book video game Brothers in Arms, or Brother in Arms, Diego. But I just want to say thank you very much for having me involved in this. It was an absolute pleasure. And cheers to you all. Well done.
No, thank you for coming.
Being on. I thought the video game panel was awesome with you. So
everyone down your drinks.
Very cool.
Everyone down your drinks for Josh.
Chug.
Right, it's like flashes all over again.
Okay, subscribe to Panels Pixels. Goodbye.
Bye.
I think he's the only one out of us that is verified and approved by Rob Liefeld. So
the Kurt Cobain of comics. Whoa,
if you guys are curious,
on blast here.
It was a neighbor who wanted to borrow coffee.
Borrow them no.
Wait,
I gave him coffee.
I feel like that's the start of a porno.
No, that's all. I don't.
What's
that's
behind
only
that
pizza.
Spider-Man curtain?
A horror porno these days.
Ooh,
Comic-Con night.
I want to know who drinks coffee at 9:49 p.m. at night.
Time has lost all meaning.
Yeah, that's true. We are far removed from hours in days.
Oh Jesus! Hashtag spawn it.
Hashtag spawn.
Let's go.
Press F in the chat. Press F in the chat for Diego Spawn.
The actual Spawn, everybody.
If you guys could only hear the Spawn conversation we were having before the live stream started.
We were just saying that we needed more cosplay. At the last minute, Spawn himself came in to help. Wait, what the?
That's not Michael Jai White.
That's not. Oh wait, no, that was Steel. Never mind.
So, Diego, how long were you sat there with the mask on waiting?
It's my favorite pastime. I'll happily wear it
When you
all
go
day.
to the grocery store, is that your mask? I'm not sure it's N95, but is that what you wear?
I imagine Diego was sat there getting ready to come on, like, no one cared who I was until I put on the mask.
You have to at least give us a Bane impression, Owen.
A Bane impression?
Me or Diego?
You can't just say the line. No one cared who I was until I put on the mask.
Well, there you go. You did it better than I ever could.
Pretty good.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Is there anyone else that needs to get in here before we finish up?
I mean, you seem to have your neighbor sat waiting for you, so.
No, he's gone.
Doesn't look like anybody's saying anything right now.
I mean,
don't see anyone else.
Jay, if you've got a pump and dump, I understand.
We got quarantine needs.
Oh my! It's not that late in here.
Dark and
At home Comic-Con
At home Comic-Con nights.
Yeah, this is the
Marvel swimsuit special.
I've got a
next-
pizza for fancy teeth. It's hot sausage.
Extra thick.
Okay.
Extra.
And that was how I never got invited back again.
Next year, this part's going exclusive to Patreon. Patreon.com/@homecomiccon if you want to see Jay's hot sausage.
Pump and dump.
Yeah, can we change the
I was on
title
a
of the
roll,
stream?
dude. Oh, can you
Okay.
videos?
I'm not doing any real porno, but
Oh, come on, Jay, give me the weekly poll.
if you guys can get it to 8,000 before the night is over, I will dress up like a pizza guy and record myself delivering hot sausage pizza.
Jay, you don't have to do this to yourself.
No,
As a fan of puns, I really appreciated the weekly poll. Man. That was
Thank
pretty
you.
darn good.
Yeah, that was good.
I didn't
You know,
even
it's
hear
saying
that.
something. You know,
The
it's saying
weekly
something.
poll, that needs to be said again. Who said that?
I
That's
said that.
genius.
You know, it's saying something when Drake.
We're just talking about the floppy this week.
I'm more of a hardback kind of guy, you see.
Oh no!
Oh, Jesus.
No.
It's a 3.5-inch drive.
Oh, like people, there's a reason nobody's donating right now.
Right, Drake, come on, get Ghost Rider's
All right,
naked
all right.
body out.
Do we remember which one it was in? We have
Of course we fucking don't.
we have Big Fun on Monster Island, Take a Wakanda Wild Side, and Come to the Moon and Explore the Heavenly Bodies, guaranteed to send you into orbit.
Wait, and I'm sorry. Did somebody say that Ghost Rider was in a
Yeah.
Marvel swimsuit edition?
He's naked. I'll find it. We did it
Because I asked this week, I said, is this a new superpower of Ghost Rider's that I discovered? If he took off his leather jacket, when he next becomes Ghost Rider, he generates a new leather jacket. Does this count as a new superpower for Ghost Rider?
See, here's the thing. If there is one thing I'm an expert of when it comes to comics, it's them fucking. Like, have I ever shown you guys my Marvel sex chart?
You show it off all the time.
I have made a bubble chart of all of the Marvel characters that have hooked up because it
You know,
is a
I
sex
bet that got
How
far
big are
more
those
convoluted.
bubbles.
That was probably confusing enough, and then like House of X happened.
It started off. The video was
And
just going to
that's
be who was Tony Stark slept with, and then I couldn't stop. And here I am 4 years later. And
Who slept with more people, Tony Stark or Daredevil? I would say Daredevil.
Tony Stark did, but Tony Stark and She-Hulk both made it very complicated, and it was worse whenever they hooked up, and so the webs are all over the place.
A lot of Eskimo twins involved.
Oh, absolutely.
When you start a new comic book channel and you get to 100 subs, you get. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just saying, the chat's blowing up, asking Drake if they can see that chart.
Yeah. Because
The chart is on the computer that I'm hosting everything on. If you can give me I had to download a separate.
Well, I think you
program.
know what your next episode is going to be. Yeah.
Hang on.
Give the people what they want.
Well, I've been for a while. Let me see the Marvel stuff. A separate program. We'll see.
Yeah. All you have to do is start a comic book YouTube channel and get your first few subscribers, and Drake will show up. He'll be like, "Have you seen this chart?"
I can show you guys the old one on the old program that I have had to switch programs twice for this.
Also pulling up an image of naked Ghost Rider at this time.
I'm working on it.
It'll happen.
It'll
happen.
We'll find it.
I'm glad that we could end this beautiful day on such a classy high note.
Yeah.
Talking about who superheroes have hooked up with.
Well, I have personally ruined this panel, and I owe everyone in the chat an apology.
I don't know if you guys have been to a con like on a Sunday evening, but they're usually just trash talking about what superheroes hook up anyway. So this is right on brand for a con. We're killing it.
Yeah, well, it is very on brand. Thank you for bringing that up. We're giving an authentic experience here.
Look, this was only ever going to end one way.
Okay,
and it was going to involve Ghost Rider's genitals.
Are you guys ready to
away
see
anything this panel?
Sorry.
Do we have any more giveaways this panel or not?
Drake, post some of those
Ghost Rider
awful swimsuits.
Okay. So I will switch over real quick. So this is the old chart.
So why didn't you do this for the academia show?
Because this is content, baby. All my most popular videos are the Marvel hookups. So, like I said, this is old. I want to say this is from last year. I've had a separate program for this. So let's go on in, shall we?
Drake, the CDC needs you. What are you doing wasting your time on YouTube?
So Tony is up here at the very top to make things easy.
Tony is a top confirmed. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
And then She-Hulk, we had to put her on the side. It got complicated when she and Thor got together. So, and Hercules, of course, just a major slut.
Did you originally make this with like red string and thumbtacks, like on a corkboard?
With pants on.
Really
In Photoshop.
sad
You want to see the Spider-Man section? Here's the Spider-Man section. There's Peter Parker, and it goes all the way to Aunt May, who is on here way too much.
How many degrees is Peter
in your
away from
view, did he hook up with Black Cat?
Oh, absolutely. No, he absolutely did. That was confirmed. See, I have sources on here on some of the lines. So purple is when they got married. Blue is the kids they had. Black Cat is down here because she and Logan got together. So
stop zooming in on Jonah J. Jameson.
He's zooming in on Jarvis. Nothing has made me softer faster than thinking about who Jarvis the butler has hooked up with.
And then here's Scott Summers and Odin sharing the Phoenix Force. So
I don't know if this is impressive or sad, but you may have put more effort into this than my students do in their actual homework.
Well, listen, what did Tyler say in the academia panel? When you gotta get excited about things you're passionate
Kids,
about.
this is what it takes to get your YouTube silver plaque. This is what it takes to get a silver play button.
I got 2 of them, so it's true.
Drake, buddy, when they said get excited about your work, that was not the definition of excited that they meant.
Look, it's quarantine, and I'm sad. Look, have a naked Ghost Rider. Are you happy?
There he is.
There he is.
So my question is,
that's one hell of a
when
bone.
Ghost Rider takes off the jacket, automatically the rest of his body is engulfed in flames. So is the jacket lined with asbestos or something to keep the flames up at the head?
No, it's magic. We gotta accept that it's magic. But
furthermore,
can he give that jacket to someone else?
Yeah, could you trap him and make a jacket factory by making him turn to Ghost Rider over and over?
This is what I asked. This is what I asked on Twitter. Does Ghost Rider have the power to clothe the world by just making an unlimited number of jackets? I say yes. I say that is a superpower that he is not taking advantage of, that he could make as many leather jackets as he wants.
So he's like multiple man. So he's like multiple man, but for leather jackets. That might be the coolest superpower ever.
Or chains. He could also give people chains.
Oh my God. When they find a cow mutilated and people say it's aliens, it's not really aliens. It's because It's because Ghost Rider just made a new jacket, and that leather's got to come from somewhere.
You know what the worst part of this is? We are talking absolute shite, and people are still sending in money.
Thank you, everyone.
What it shows is that we put in way too much effort. We thought that we weren't putting in enough.
Why did we spend 3 weeks on this? We could have just been
thought this
talking
was the
about
Marvel Summit. What do you mean shite? I thought you were coming up with the next year's worth of Marvel stories here.
I know I'm not putting any effort. I got a broken microphone that I'm holding like I'm Vince McMahon. So
it's not a good
lot
time
of effort, to be honest.
It is a bad time to compare yourself to Vince McMahon right now, Jay.
Yeah, that was a little.
I said I was holding a mic
taste.
like him. I didn't. Yeah,
you don't want to be anywhere
okay.
near Vince McMahon right now.
I mean, I don't think if anyone's ever wanted to be near Vince McMahon, but now is an especially bad time.
I have never wanted to be near Vince McMahon at any time ever, for the record.
There are other people in the world that have held microphones. You could have said like, "Oh, I'm like Bruce Campbell in Spider-Man," something cool like that.
Have you ever
is ready?
I was wondering how long it'd take till we just sit here and quote movies from 20 years ago.
Have you ever tried walking like Vince McMahon? Though it's quite empowering, actually.
Well, like Conor McGregor stole that kind of walk, didn't he?
Conor McGregor stole a lot of stuff.
Grapefruits down your pants, and then you just sort of naturally walk.
Whenever you mention Vince McMahon walk, I'm always brought back to the story at Royal Rumble 2005. So basically, for some weird wrestling trivia, the Royal Rumble is a thing where 30 people in a ring and you have to throw each other out of the ring, and the last person in the ring wins. It's like the floor is lava, but wrestling. And so it was meant to come down to these two guys, John Cena and Batista. I'm sure you've heard of them. They're in movies now. And they were meant to go over together at the same time, but one of them was meant to land after and win. They fucked it up and they both went out at the same time. So Vince comes barging down out of backstage and orders them to restart the match. And he's running that fast. He tears both of his quads getting into the ring. So he's on his knees shouting at the wrestlers.
He gave himself a serious injury just trying to correct a botched WrestleMania or Royal Rumble.
This angry man is on his knees shouting to like 6'5" dudes. But he's in like this big, like oversized suit, so he looks like he's like, you know, when you see like people be like shrunk down so they're like child forms.
That's amazing.
Wrestling.
It's like that final season of the original Power Rangers where they all get turned into children.
Oh, Mopey's tapping out. So, Mopey, thank you for your service. You have been
amazing.
amazing.
Thank you, Mopey.
Thank you. Everybody has helped today. Thank you, Mopey.
Arguably the Vince McMahon of moderating.
So here's a question. You get to be a billionaire, but you have to be Vince McMahon. Do you do it?
I don't want to be a billionaire. Nobody should be a billionaire.
Hashtag billionaire shouldn't exist. Let's go.
PSA.
Yeah,
I'd be the first person that might.
You could conceivably give the money away, but you'd still have to be Vince McMahon.
Just give me a couple million and like make me somebody less shitty.
Okay,
fair enough.
To be less shitty.
How about this? You get to be, let's say, 100 millionaire, right? 100 million.
But I have to be Dan DiDio?
No, but you have to be. You have to write Spawn comics for the rest of your life.
Oh, that's not hard. I just
Come on.
Diego thoughts.
Now we're at the point where we're doing Would You Rathers.
Whenever you mention Spawn, all I can think of is that video Todd McFarlane was like, "Hi, I'm Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn."
all the intros before the episodes on the animated series.
My favorite thing.
Super edgy.
Why is Todd McFarlane? And I respect Todd McFarlane, but he's got a lot of money by all accounts. Like, why did he have to do a crowdfunding thing for a new Spawn toy? So, no, I'm serious. Like, why did he have to do that instead of just make one?
He didn't have to do it. You know, some of them look at crowdfunding as just a way to not risk their own money. It's like late capitalism at its worst.
Wait, have we circled back to full capitalism really quickly?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
what a stream!
I've got to tell you guys, just honestly, I'm a complete cuck. I mean,
well, do I have a shirt for you, Jay?
Oh my god!
I can still.
What a 2019 term! Your shirt should be #simp. Apparently.
Oh yeah.
Just to roll back to Todd McFarlane, I actually, even though he had nothing to do with the Venom movie because it had nothing to do with his creation of Venom, really, I got to talk to him on the phone for some reason, and he was surprisingly a really nice fucking guy. Cool interview. He called me some Canadian slang term I don't remember that I took offense to at first, and he's
milk
like,
bag?
"It means you're
a milk bag."
A milk bag. And I was
No,
like,
you don't get to be that successful by being a jerk. You don't.
Yeah. No, he's built relationships and things like that. Like he has that credit.
I don't know, man. Have you heard about the Miracle Man lawsuits?
You sure have. We did a whole panel about it.
I know.
We didn't even slate Thatcher that much.
I know. It was really
I know.
Well, that's
You just gotta take another drink on.
Well, that's what I do every other day of my life.
I mean, I even threw you V for Vendetta, and you didn't even bring it
True.
up.
Hey, look, I'm not the one that's going to end up with Joe Biden, so.
You should be so lucky at this point.
Dude, Bernie dropped out on my birthday, and it was the worst gift in the world.
I'm not going to have to vote for Mr. How Do I Open PDF?
God, that was a dark day for many reasons for me.
I'm like, oh, and you made a PDF joke earlier in the opening panel, and I bust out so hard. I don't think
honestly that feels like it was a week ago.
Let's decide how everybody here pronounces .gif.
GIF.
Oh.
GIF.
Jife.
GIF. Oh, Jife. Yes, Jife's a great one.
Jife.
Yeah,
I watch that channel.
It's giraffe.
Giraffe.
You say Iraq?
Nobody knows what I'm saying, Owen. Ever.
Anybody monitoring the chat? We're all like losing it at this point. I was
Mac
just
the
curious.
Milkman is being very helpful, still moderating, and I've just jumped in and banned someone, so it's all
we've got
good.
some really interesting comments. Someone said Margaret Thatcher was the only villain John Constantine failed to defeat. Someone said, "Why did I just go and watch a Royal Rumble video?" You want to see an old man's knees break?
I love a good sports injury video. I won't lie.
Someone just said, "What about Rob Liefeld?" Which I feel like could be the title of a video itself.
That could be a panel. What about Rob Liefeld?
Earlier, the Geek Explained podcast, great podcast, you should definitely check it out, asked, what did we all think of Drake's British accent from earlier today?
It's very clear.
Missed that. I was wondering if we could get a redo.
I'm proper chuffed.
Say that again.
Well, I'm proper chuffed.
One more time.
I got a text.
There it is.
That girl is rot fit.
He's watching Love Island.
Wait,
I said
that's
this
your
in the chat
British
earlier.
accent? I thought that was your impersonation of a stroke.
We need Owen
Said this
and
in the chat
Michaela
earlier.
to give a American accent.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I'm just getting over like
Owen, do you want to go first?
no.
Jeez,
We're part of America, yeah.
Texas. That's a pretty easy one.
Hang on, y'all want to get to a southern drawl now? I'm gonna go get my cowboy hat.
What was it you said earlier? In the
I can't
panel?
do the southern drawl, but I can sort of
Come on now,
raise it
Drake.
out
Don't
a
be
little bit
talking
by
like me.
repeating some of my cousins, but that's about it.
It's that part of the stream.
Yeah, Michaela Laird, do an impression of your famous uncle Peter Laird, creator of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Fun fact, I have no relationship to Peter Laird. I am, however, the niece of Elizabeth Taylor, so fuck off.
What?
Wow.
That's much better.
That's quite the
I
connection.
know I can't do a fucking accent.
Crocodile Dundee joining us now.
What's on a knife?
Oh, it's Wolverine from Pride of the X-Men. He's back, haunting me.
Want a piece of fruit?
Nah, the thing down here is when you're down here in the great state of Texas, everybody got a cowboy hat. It's state mandated.
When you said you were going to have to get something, I was actually concerned you were going to come back with a gun.
Oh, I am not allowed to own a gun. I used to.
Welcome to Things That Are Knives and Things That Are Not Knives with Crocodile Dundee. Is this a knife?
That's not a knife.
National knife.
To quote The Simpsons, I see you've played Knifey Spoony before.
Wait, Matt, you're telling me there's no time limit on the last panel?
So we couldn't get any American accents, but apparently we all are just very eager to give our Australian accents.
Well, I'll just rag on the Aussies. How many
They're
dollar
not
dues
represented
did we
here
raise?
today.
I mean, Josh left.
Yeah, that's it. How many dollar dues did we raise today?
I don't know what the conversion rate is.
$10,000 dues.
So when it comes to accents, like true story, I've got a Eastern Kentucky accent, which is often confused for Southern, but it's different. It's less respected. But I often get accused of faking the Southern accent rather than because I'm trying to enunciate. Like I'll say like instead of like, which is how I would normally say it. And in doing so, I will get accused of being a Northerner who is faking a Southern accent rather
Nobody's
than
faking a Southern accent.
Yeah.
What part of
The
Kentucky
Yankee
is that bitch Carol Baskins?
I'm actually, you nailed it. I'm from Eastern Kentucky.
I just want to point everyone to the awful Twitter video I put out the other day, which was an outtake from my at-home Comic-Con announcement video, which is just me going, hey, all you cool cats and kittens out there.
I literally saved that to my hard drive. I will find a use for it.
I'm ending this panel in 4 minutes.
Fuck it. Let's talk about Tiger King.
I'm not hosting this panel for much longer. I have to make a D&D character, and maybe eat.
That bitch Drake McQuarter.
Drake's like my new D&D character is Australian, but he lives in Texas.
And he hates Carol
Baskin.
Tigers, yeah.
Crowdfunding ideas for characters.
Let's see if there's any more.
Do we have anything productive we can say?
Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, look. Mostly Harmless says the Superman panel was disappointing. Thank you so much, Mostly Harmless. I hope that you donated a lot.
Thanks. Wow.
Really big fan of you too. Let's see.
It was a Mostly Harmless comment. All right, calm down.
Let's see. Anything else?
It's not like these guys worked really hard all day for charity or anything, man. Yeah. I mean,
don't
worry about it.
Another one. What is Rick's last name? You know, I'm still confused about that one too.
It's Rick.
Question in the chat. If anybody knows how I want to know how I pronounce my name, video name, it's Rick Nasden because my last name is Kasdan, so it rhymes. There you go.
The more you explain it, the more confused I get.
It doesn't. I don't like poetry, but I really enjoy rhymes apparently because my whole
I'll come back with a chart. I'll explain it.
When I met Drake the one time, he was like, "Rick, Nick, what? Who?"
Well, yeah, because it sucked because I was in town for a Square Enix thing, and Nick was being so awesome to help me out and like get me out of my sketchy hotel. But I was explaining to my friend, like, oh yeah, my buddy Nick. I said, Rick, I don't think I've ever questioned it until fuck, I don't know, and I'm embarrassed to call him either. So I just addressed it.
What if my name was like Carl or something, and neither name was right?
I believe your name would be Coral.
Cool.
You should start acting on the internet like your twin brothers Nick and Rick.
Oh,
and make them argue with each other.
2 different vlog channels.
Yeah.
Here's a quick question for everybody. We've done the at-home Comic-Con, the first super successful at-home Comic-Con ever, the best. When do you think a real or at least in-person Comic-Con will start taking place? Do you think that something like October is too soon? Do you think like something like the New York Comic-Con would take place?
No.
I think it might be too soon.
I even think San Diego Comic-Con 2021 will be canceled. They just officially canceled this year's and haven't said anything, but it's so unlikely. It's like one of my favorite events. I can't imagine feeling safe sitting next to even people who are passionate about the same thing. It's just, please stay away from me.
I think it's one of those, like, even when they start, like, restricting the bans and letting people into public spaces, I think a lot of people are still going to be apprehensive about going to big events. Mm-hmm. It'll probably take around a year once things are kind of unlocked for people to really start going out in large scale ways.
I say we let the anti-vaccination crowd go first and see what happens.
They've been very quiet.
I wonder why.
Jesus.
It will be an interesting progression. I think the next 3 months will be an interesting way to see how certain things open back up, when things do, if they open up and close back down. If things progress in like a consistent, helpful, healthy way, I would say like it may take a little while, but things maybe will all eventually open up a little sooner than you may imagine. Maybe that's the end of the year, maybe that's the beginning of next year for like group events. But if like things open up suddenly and close again, then things become super unpredictable, and we'll see what happens. As long as people stay healthy, that's
it's almost like we need a vaccine.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just reading some last comments that we might have.
I think someone in the chat says that we should do an in-person version of this in front of the San Diego Comic-Con building.
No, because then I'd have to put on pants.
If this does well enough, I think a physical convention would be cool.
That would be cool. Justin says, we're going to need more Joe Exotic impressions from Chris. So now you know what your audience really wants.
Yeah, I don't know where to go from just calling Carol Baskins a bitch.
That's all
what else does he say?
That he fed
That's
her
literally
husband a
all he
tiger.
said.
Sardine oil makes those kitties go wild.
A few people said they loved the Superman panel. It was really insightful. I agree. Someone says that Rick/Nick looks like James Franco in Spider-Man.
Yep.
Okay.
Take a big bite of something and say, so good.
Good.
So good. I don't like being compared to James Franco, but at least it's Spider-Man. It's back in the day.
Well, I think that I'm going to go ahead and call it here, if that's all right.
How about one last question? Go around for every single person. The question is, one comic book to recommend to someone to read while they have to stay at home.
Okay, I'm calling dibs on what I'm going to pick because it's right there.
I will say it.
Is that your TV you're going to talk about? He's going to say, watch TV.
I got my recommendation ready to go.
Okay, go for it.
All right, whenever you're ready.
No, just kidding. I love Superman for All Seasons. I think
so
that is one of my favorite Superman books. I would absolutely recommend that.
Fantastic. I love Superman for All Seasons, one of my favorites.
I'm going to look at my wall too.
I know. One of the books that's holding my laptop up, actually, I'll recommend. Multiversity.
Yes.
Classic. Grant Morrison really.
Grant Morrison here.
Yeah. He shows that you can do anything in comics, kind of across the genres, even with that superhero flair. It's great.
So I want to share a book I think everyone will love. It's deep with like, oh, fuck, Spider-Man's moving.
Neighbor's back.
It's deep with, fascinating political commentary. It's satirical. It's multi-layered. It's The Ultimates by Mark Miller and Brian Hitch. The Hulk tries to kill Freddie Prinze Jr. It's great. There's a bit where George W. Bush shows up, which is aged honestly great.
War Heroes is the unofficial idea for what he was going to do for Ultimates 3. So if you want to read 3 out of 5 issues that never got completed, there's War Heroes.
I had no idea.
Wait. What I am actually going to recommend is, because that book is trash, is the book I've not stopped ranting about on Twitter. It's Batman Universe by Bendis and Nick Darrington. It is amazing. I love it. They should give Bendis the keys to Batman and maybe also take him off Superman, because this is amazing.
Okay.
Fantastic book. Amazing book.
I described it when me and Matt were talking about it yesterday as it's the best Silver Age Batman story since like 1970, in that it's one of the few times I've seen Batman not be written very seriously in a way that's not like self-parody. It's a very light-hearted Batman story that's not tongue-in-cheek, and it's about a Fabergé egg.
It's a great way of putting it. It's a great book.
What more could you want?
I'm gonna
genuinely.
I want Archie 2015 to be recommended. It's a nice feel-good book, at least at first. It's just good quality, good feels. We need some good feels in these trying times.
I want to put Archie and Predator down there next to it then.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's the reboot, the Mark Waid Archie reboot, right?
Yeah, with Fiona Staples initially as the artist. Great art.
Stuff.
I love Runaways. I think it's great.
Oh God, Runaways Volume 5 is amazing.
It always puts a smile on my face. It's great.
I cried in a recent issue. I was so happy.
Right?
Dude, when the fucking clay pigeons were going to Gert and Old Lace went to Chase.
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my
Lord.
God. Fuck Runaways. Yes, never mind.
Comics.
I've got mine right here. I'll recommend Hellboy in Hell.
Very on brand.
All Hellboy in general, but Hellboy in Hell is a masterpiece. It's probably the crowning achievement of Hellboy. You should probably read some beforehand. It's kind of the culmination of everything. It is dark and gothic and ruminative. It's really just a very quiet, thoughtful piece, and incredible art. Mignola just at his most sort of baroque with his figures, and amazing. Hellboy in Hell. Please read it if you like Hellboy.
It's
Matt,
great.
you're my soulmate.
That book is a trip.
I do just want to ask you, Matt, speaking of really poignant emotional things, do you think the A on Captain America's head stands for France?
I don't think it does.
I don't know. I'm still not sure. I've read it a few times and still can't work it out.
The joke that was so great that they had to come back later and plug it again in a few pages. I want to recommend Spider-Man
Yes.
Blue.
My favorite
This book,
Spider-Man books.
this book is about grief. If I had to say what it's about, it helped me through the death of my father. And it sort of helped me realize that maybe it's okay. Maybe you could like talk out loud about the things, even if there's nobody around to listen. And I would recommend this to anybody, to everybody.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Absolutely great.
Again,
I don't have my recommendation. I don't have my recommendation on hand, mostly because I'm not in my office. I'm in the family living room. But it'd be Superman's Secret Identity, because it's the only book I've ever actually fallen in love with, and it's absolutely amazing. It's by Kurt Busiek and Stuart Immelman, and it's about what if Clark Kent was in our world, and absolutely hated the fact that he was named after a comic book character, but then had to grow up with these powers. It's amazing.
That's a great suggestion.
Rock solid. For 2 seconds, I was afraid you were recommending the book by who's the kid that's the son of that director that killed everybody? I've been drinking.
That's just not.
I do like American Alien a lot.
No.
Okay.
Let's not.
All right.
Who do we have left? Chris, you didn't pick one. Diego, did you pick one?
Superman for All Seasons.
That's right. You were the first one to go. Yes.
You really should have just said the first 100 issues of Spawn.
The first 100 issues of Spawn, really solid work. Just don't go anything past that. Once you get through those first 100 issues, I'm sure.
I'm trying to think of something like really big. We're all stuck at home, so I'm trying to think of like a long story, and of course, like Akira is definitely something. But no, I think what I'll recommend is a book that's easier to pick up these days. Immortal Hulk has been really impressing me. I don't know, like Hulk has never necessarily been my favorite character, but right now I would say this is my favorite monthly superhero comic.
Yeah.
It's completely unexpected. It's basically horror within, sort of the PG-13 bounds of a Marvel comic, but it's really going in interesting places. You don't necessarily have to have read Hulk before, so I think you can just start with Immortal Hulk. There's a couple trade paperbacks. I think that's a really good read right now.
It's an amazing comic, Chris. We are soulmates. I agree.
I'm jealous.
All right. Well, I am officially closing up the stream now.
So just before we close off, let's just read off the final total that we raised.
Yes.
I've got it up here if you want me to announce it. The total is $7,253 dues.
That's incredible.
That's amazing.
Thank you, everybody.
Everyone.
And I'm thanking the viewers there. Like, thank you so much. That's amazing.
Yes, thank you.
You guys really made a difference today.
It's going to go to an amazing course.
Thank you to each and every one of you.
Thank you, and thank you everybody for coming. Thank you everybody for watching. We're gonna do so much better next year.
And we're still gonna get Drake to shave his beard regardless.
No, I'm not.
He's shaving, and Matt's talking about Spawn.
Shave my head if you shave your beard, dog. Let's go.
I'm not shaving my beard. I said 10,000. If we were in the 9,000s, I would round up. No, I'm not going to hurt my self-esteem that bad. Next year at Home Comic Con 2021.
How about just your back?
Well, done.
He does that anyway.
I was going to shave my belly tonight anyway, so I'll probably do that.
Who's your sponsor there?
Manscaped.com/comic. Make sure you use Comic D20 at checkout for 20% off and free shipping.
Let us know when you get
guys.
the meal, by the way.
I've got a coffee date with a pizza guy.
Yeah, let us know how that big sausage goes.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
You guys have a good night. Enjoy your Saturday.
Everybody. Thank you all for your hard work today. Thank you.
Good night.